Let's see if anyone's joining me first. Just start at 7. Perfect. I'm just going to give it another probably 2 minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, and just to see if people can join us. Hello everyone. I'm glad actually people are joining, so that's really good. I can see the waves. Hello everyone. I have to say I am a bit nervous because I've never done Instagram live chat before, so this is my first ever time to do an Instagram live chat. And please do bear with me if there's any technical problem and anything, and to give me encouragement as well. And so we've got 7 to 7:30 30 minutes to talk about this topic, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you my experience of studying nutrition and dietetics in the UK, but I'm going to give you some of my CV in a really short form, and then I'm going to tell you some of the issues I faced as an international student when I was studying nutrition and dietetics. And I think I have, thank you there. I have posted, I think, Instagram story and asking to type any questions. So if you do have any question, please feel free to type, and I will try my best to answer you. Right, okay, without further ado, so let me make the start. And again, please bear with me, and I've never done this sort of monologue and chatting to the screen before, so hopefully we'll be fine. Okay, so for people who are not from the University of Surrey, or people who haven't met me before, my name is Long Lee, and I am a lecturer in dietetics at the University of Surrey, and I am a registered dietitian with the HCPC. So I'm just going to give you a sort of introduction of myself, and I came to the UK in 2010, and so I did my first degree in China, and that was in pharmacy. And speaking of that, when people ask me, what did you study? And I said pharmacy, then they're always like, oh my God, you know all about drugs. And I think probably I did, but I studied it in Chinese, and I would find it really difficult to translate that in English. But anyway, finished my first degree in 2010 and came to the UK in August 2010 and to study a master's in nutritional epidemiology. It's called Nutrition, Obesity and Health, but I was tricked by the name because it's really nutritional epidemiology. And I did that at the University of Leeds, and so that's from 2010 to 2011. And after that, I sort of volunteered and did some work, part-time job, and realised if I wanted to be a dietitian, and I had to study an HCPC approved programme. And at that time in England, there weren't many universities that's open for international students and for dietetics because of the NHS placement capacity issues. And at that time, I think there was only Leeds Beckett University, and at that time it was called Leeds Metropolitan University. That's open to international students. So I applied and got on the course, which was really good because I know at that time it's really competitive. So it's good for me to get on, and so I did my postgraduate diploma in dietetics at Leeds Beckett University, and that's from 2013 to the end of 2015. And after I finished the postgraduate diploma in dietetics at Leeds Beckett, now I started my Band 5 job in the north, near Leeds, so in Yorkshire. And now I did my Band 5 job for quite a long time. It's almost around 2 years, and let me count, 2 years and 3 months time as Band 5, which for now I think many people don't do Band 5 for a long time, and they stay in Band 5 short time and progress to a Band 6 post. But And I did that until 2018, and I moved to London to take up a band 6 post in North London. So that's 2018 August time, and from 2018 August to December 2019, so I got a new post, so I progressed to a band 7 job in December 2019, and I did that post for probably 2 years time. And then I joined the University of Surrey as a lecturer in dietetics in October 2021, so last year. So I've been in this higher education post for just over a year. And good news is I'm still enjoying it, so that's good. So that's sort of my short resume, and obviously I started the Masters in Nutrition Epidemiology and the Dietetics both as international students. So for this chat, I'm going to sort of talk about a very general thing rather than very specific topics, because I think we can talk about them in other sort of live chat as well. The first one, I guess, for me as an international student, the first came to the challenge I had was the English issues. And obviously, Chinese or Chinese Mandarin is my first language, and English is my second language. And obviously, I passed the English test to be able to come to the UK to study, and that's called IELTS. So on paper or in theory, I've passed the sort of the benchmark they need me to be. But I don't know if some of you recognize that doing a test, English test, is very different of using English as a tool and to communicate every day. So that's the first challenge I've had. And I remember, I think probably in the first few months or even first year or 2 years of in the UK, I always need to rehearse what I wanted to say in my head before I said it to people in English, because I wanted to make sure that my English was perfect, grammar was right, the choice of the words is right, and I was really nervous. I think I didn't have much confidence in sort of speaking up or speaking out or communicate with people, and I almost felt people would judge me if I didn't speak English like in a perfect way, or if I didn't speak English very well. So that's the first challenge. And obviously, I think at that time I did realize I needed to be better. And I think for me, a strength at that time is I did put an effort in improving my English. And I think the first is the both the listening and the spoken English as well. What I did at that time is I was very mindful when I was listening to people, and I was mindful of the phrases they use, and I practiced that myself, probably at home, and just to be and just to absorb that and become my own language, my own style. And I think the other thing I find it challenging, because obviously I did my degree in Leeds, and then they have a Yorkshire accent, and sometimes it was a bit difficult to understand. I'm really sorry if any of you are from Yorkshire here, but as someone who's new to the UK, I did find that challenging. But again, yeah, be mindful of when you listen to people, and you do need to pay attention to their phrases, and because I have a quite thick face, so sometimes I do ask them to repeat, or ask them if I notice any of the phrases they use, it's quite interesting. I ask them, oh, what did you use? Or if I want to express something, I don't know how to express it in English, I just ask them, so this is what I want to sort of describe, this is what I want to express. Can you tell me, is there any like an idiom, or is there a phrase that I can use? Which one is the correct one? And normally people are really, really helpful. They're always helpful, and will tell me what to do, and they're very understandable as well. And obviously you can watch TV, and I would recommend you to watch British TV, because I think other than English language, the other thing you want to know is the culture as well. And I think watching British TV can sort of give you both. And I think another thing is, when you're watching TV, again, be mindful as well of what your purpose is, because obviously you are there to learn and to practice your English. So what you're the plot is good, it's important, but then what you need to do is really, you need to listen to what people are saying and what kind of phrases they use. And then another thing I find useful is listening to the radios, and because you can download the apps, BBC Sound or LBC, or even today's TV, and I use BBC Sound a lot at that time, where I listened to, well, I was in Leeds, but I love to listen to BBC Radio London, because they have so many really good programs. So again, with that, what I did really was to, again, pay attention to what they were saying, because sometimes they will have guests on, and they have a two-way communication, sort of an interview, and I paid attention to how they undertook the interview and what kind of things they used to sort of bridge the gap and to communicate with their guests. So I think that has really helped me improve my English, both speaking English and spoken English, and my listening skills. And I have to say, one thing I need to say to you is, you need to practice. There's no other way that you can improve your English other than just to speak it. So practice is key. When I did my first master's at Leeds University, we had, I think, 12 students in total, and 4 of them were international students, and the others were home students. And when I was doing the dietetics, there were 4 students, international students, out of 30. The 2 cohorts, the home students or EU students, they were so supportive, and really, I think we were really like friends. We weren't like, this is the home students group and this is the international students group. We really gelled really well. So I think how supportive they were really made a difference as well. So if you are watching as a home student or as an EU student, and I have to say, you probably can also make a difference to the experience of international students as well. And again, probably at that time, as I said, and I have a thick face, so I would initiate the conversation with them, because I guess to them, probably if you're international students, you are new to them as well. Culturally, probably they don't know much about your culture, and I think sometimes it's okay for you to initiate this. And once I think you break the ice, and it will be really easy to make friends with either other international students or home students. So that's one of the things, and you do not have to be perfect, and I know many of us international students would worry about, you have to be perfect in terms of your speaking English. You have to be, grammar has to be correct, and your accent has to be, perfect. No, you don't, and you don't have to be perfect, and you can have an accent, and your grammar can be, you can make mistakes in your grammar. That's absolutely fine. People will understand, and people will not judge you. So just talk and speak, okay? So that's the first thing, is the English. And I think linking with English, the next one is the communication skills. And if English is your first language, that's really good. And then you sort of just need to focus on the communication skills part. And obviously, as the university lecturers, we teach communication skills. And I think what you need to be mindful is how you use that, how you practice it afterwards. And for me, what I did was I actually practiced my communication skills at home, just facing the mirror, because for example, like running a consultation, I would just to imagine there's someone in front of me, and I would just carry on that consultation myself, pay attention to the communication skills that we use, and I started to pay attention to when I speak to people, how they communicate with me, the verbal communication skills and the non-verbal communication skills as well. So I think for communication skills, it's quite so it's linked to English, but not necessarily English. And obviously, I did quite a lot of volunteering as well. And what it has helped me for volunteering is, obviously, I got the chance to speak to people. At that time, I just Googled relevance of healthy eating and volunteering program, and I did find a charity that did that. So I delivered like the Chinese cooking program, and it's so funny because there's no actual cooking appliances, so it's all about describing how I would cook a meal. But that has really helped me of engaging people and interact with them and improve my communication skills. So that has helped me. So volunteering, definitely. And another way is, if you don't want to volunteer, if you want to, use your time to make some money. And I think one thing you can try is to work in a hospital and as a healthcare assistant. And obviously, at the moment, there's such a shortage of healthcare assistants. So I don't think you will have difficulty finding a job, and I think it's just the time to do that job. But that will help you sort of get used to a hospital environment, and you will start to communicate with patients even before your placement. So that will give you some of those acute experience, or even in the community, you can get that experience as well if you work in a care home, for example. So that will be good, and you earn money and you improve your communication skills. You probably can improve your English skills as well. So kill a few birds with just one stone. And obviously the next one is obviously from an academic point of view is I remembered for my first master's, and it's a nutritional epidemiology, so which means it has got a lot of statistics, which I wasn't good at because I wasn't good at my math, and statistics is at another level, and I struggled so much with the academic part. And I think one thing you can do at that time is I have to say, you are not alone if you feel that difficult. I think all your peers will find statistics challenging, and at least most of them will find it challenging. So I think from that point of view, you're fine. The university normally, I don't know which university you're from, but most of the university will offer sort of math tutorial or statistics tutorial, so definitely make use of it. And you can also contact your tutor as well, and ask for advice, and which I didn't really make use of my personal tutor at that time, but you can definitely email them and ask them about how you can improve, and ask for help. It's absolutely fine to ask for help, and it can be your peers. I remembered so one of the international students I started with, she was amazing at statistics, and she helped me a lot. So that's definitely something, if someone's really good at statistics from your peers, be friends with them, that's fine, and study with them and ask them. I'm sure they would be happy to help you. And another thing is, for my first master's, I had massive procrastination issues. So I always left the deadline, my coursework to the last minute, and so I always stay up really late or overnight just before the deadline, trying to finish everything, and so that's absolutely not pleasant. And I think I learned from my experience for my second dietetics, which I got much better. I got a physical diary at that time, and I just put all the deadlines, put all the things in the diary, so I had a really clear mind of when what was due, so I could start to plan and to do it. So I think for my dietetics, I didn't really stay overnight for any assignments, so that was good. But if you're not good at time management, get a diary. You can use your phone as well, Google Calendar or even Outlook Calendar, whichever is working better for you. For me, I think a physical diary absolutely did the work for me. And then I think linking to the academic, because when I did my first master's, in week 6 time, I think, of semester 1, I started to feel really, really lonely because I didn't know many people at that time, and coursework came in, and I felt like I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything in terms of the statistics. I didn't know what I was doing, and I felt like, literally, I felt a bit depressed. And the day got really, really short, and so it's dark overnight, really long, dark days, and I just felt so lonely. And I sometimes I just feel like what I was doing, and I didn't know the academic, and I didn't have many friends. And I think for that, I probably would encourage you to again seek support from the university. And obviously, I think nowadays universities, they offer so many more services. So for example, at the University of Surrey, they offer like the peer support scheme, where you can just call those university students and have a chat with them, and also the wellbeing services, etc. So just go on to your own university services and see what they can do for students. And I think talking will be good, and because I guess sometimes you probably just need to talk. They probably can't help you, but having someone to express your concerns or issues will be actually a way, it would be quite therapeutic. I didn't do that at that time, but I should have done that. But if you do feel lonely, I guess that's probably normal as an international student at that time, at this time of year. But seeking help is quite important as well. Another thing I find challenging is obviously my knowledge about food. And I come from China, and not everything is about Chinese food here in the UK. And if you do dietetics, obviously most of your time you will be talking about food. So knowing about British food is very, very important. Now I say British food. What is British food? Traditional British food. I guess we do have a few sort of traditional British dishes, but again, the UK is really multicultural society, so it's not just about fish and chips or cottage pie or shepherd's pie, but also foods from different ethnicity as well. And I think what I did at that time is I watched quite a lot of cooking programs, and I used the BBC, but do bear in mind you need a TV license to watch any live TV or BBC. So I watched quite a lot of cooking programs, and what I learned from it is not actually how you can make a dish, but how you can describe the process of cooking and what the language they use to cook, and obviously the dishes as well. And that has helped me both on placement or even before placement, just doing the dietetics, because on placement, when you're speaking to patients, you will inevitably talk about food, and it's very important that you understand what patients eat. Because if you show that not understanding of what they eat, you sort of will lose their trust, and they probably will not trust in you, and will not do things you sort of the advice you provide to them. Because if you don't understand their diet, why would they trust you? So I think watching programs definitely helped me, and the Great British Bake Off, love it, and that gave me so much, all my baking knowledge. I've never baked anything in my life, but all my baking knowledge is from the Great British Bake Off, so that's a good one. And I was privileged enough at that time to be able to afford going out and eat and having meals. And I would say if you can afford going out and eating, probably try different cuisine here in the UK. And I think we have so many more new restaurants in different cuisine. So if you can go, try different cuisine. Don't just stick to your own cuisine. So be embracive, I would say, and I think that will give you the first-hand experience. And if you're a bit shy, if you're on a budget, that's fine as well, because I think internet is so much more convenient now compared to sort of 12 years ago. There were so many recipes you can choose from online, and you can sort of organize a social event, and you can cook those ethnic diets or even British food together with your friends, and you can invite your peers from the course together to do some cooking. And that will definitely help. You can follow people on Instagram, and a lot of those either nutritionists or dietitians, and just to see what they say, because they will, they love food, don't they? We all love food. So I think it just need to be a bit purposeful of where you want to get from those experience. And cook, definitely, and watch, and be embracive. Another thing is you can just go to a supermarket, and because I remember I just went to a supermarket and I look at different range of foods and packaging and everything just to understand what it is. You can buy it and buy home and to try it. It's always better if you try it and know what it is, because then you can, when patients describe it to you, you know exactly what they're talking about. But knowledge about food was a challenge to me, and I have to say that obviously I did a master's at Leeds University first, so I had experience of living in the UK and the British culture. And if you are new to the UK and studying dietetics straight away, as first year coming to the UK, then I have to say you probably do need to make an effort of knowing those kind of things: communication skills, your English skills, knowledge about food, and your academic sides. You do need to make an effort to sort of get your foundation right, because then what you do is you really prepare yourself well for the placement year, which I think we can probably talk about placement at another live chat, because I had a lot of challenges on placement myself, so I guess I probably was in a good really position to talk about placement as well, but not in this one, so it's quite general. And I think probably that's the things I want to talk to you about. So I guess if I could travel back to 12 years ago, what advice I would give to myself is make use of the university services. The university offers so many services, and you paid so much money, the tuition fees, then why not use the service? You paid for it, please use them. And speak to the personal tutor more. They are there. Don't worry about, taking up of their time. They're paid by the university, and providing advice to their tutees is part of their job. So do not be afraid, speaking to them. Just feel free to email them, say, can we arrange a meeting? That's absolutely fine. And it's okay. Speak more to home students and other international students. Home students, they're really, I think they welcome, and I think they're friendly, they're nice, and they would love to make friends with international students as well. I think it's a win-win situation, because for them, they know other culture, and stuff. Nowadays we're more global, so for them, they will learn of how to work with people from other backgrounds. So and for you can practice your English, and obviously you can learn about British culture. So it's a win-win situation. And do some volunteering, and that will give you the opportunity to know other people, to meet other people, to speak to other people, and that will open more opportunities for you as well. Because sometimes people, if you apply for a job, they need some experience, and volunteering experience is absolutely fine that you can put on your CV. And again, opportunities to practice your English, as I just mentioned, and look for a part-time job in a hospital if you want to, and plan my time better. So those would be the things if I could travel back to 12 years ago, and that would be something I tell myself at that time. Right, it's nearly at the end, so I'm just going to quickly check any questions you have. So the first one is, how to overcome language barrier. And I think at the beginning I said the only way to overcome language barrier is to speak and to practice. And I don't know if you joined a bit later, because I think this chat will be saved. So in the beginning of the chat, I did quite a large part on how I overcome the language barrier. So definitely go and revisit. But practice is key. You cannot improve your English or your language without speaking out. Okay, so very important. Even just speaking at home to yourself, that's practice as well. Right, okay. What was your biggest challenge as an international student in dietetics? That's from BDA page. Thanks, BDA. So I think again it's the communication, and is to be able to communicate the food and in English to patients and explain the clinical side. Or the clinical and nutrition support and your advice in English to patients. And that was a challenge, but overcome that. And I think, again, once you get the English side sorted, food side sorted, communication skills sorted, that shouldn't be a problem on placement. Let me just double check if any other... Would you tell us a bit more about the new sessions for international, which may help settling someone who may not be? Yes, I think probably if you're from Surrey, what we're thinking about is obviously we have developed this new session called Exploration of UK Culture. And I guess probably what we can do is thinking of maybe we can develop like a community of where we have some more social events probably within each year, or even like between years, and we can bring people together. And food is always a good thing. We can sort of bring food from your own culture maybe, and we can do like I don't know, a tea party or something. And we also obviously at Surrey we have the peer support scheme as well for dietetic students, and we can pair you up with so in the past we did international student to help international student, but we're going to review that of whether or not we just mix them together. That would be a good way as well. Yeah, that's good. Let me see if there's any other. Right, okay. So how can I find a job as a healthcare assistant in the UK? So I think you can just Google it, and you can either go to the NHS website and nhs.job, but I think they've changed the website, but you can just literally just Google it, healthcare assistant job UK, and you should be able to find it, or just visit contact the local hospital and then see if they are recruiting as well. And I would say they probably are, because they always need more healthcare assistant. Let me just see. Thanks, Lena. Inspiring. Thank you. I think that's probably everything. But obviously, if you want to know more, if you will have more questions, you always feel free to either leave a comment, a message on Instagram, or you can drop me an email as well. You can probably Google me and find my email address. We will have more Instagram live chat and in the future on different topics. And I hope it's okay, because this is my first ever Instagram live chat. So I hope it has gone okay from the audience point of view. And I will see you later. Have a good evening. Bye bye.